It has been a huge week for the Dallas Wings, and right now we bring on their general manager and executive vice president, Curt Miller. Good afternoon, sir.
Great to be with you.
Now, it has been a tough year for Metroplex basketball fans. Can you promise that you will not trade Paige Bueckers in the next year for a poor return?
I can absolutely promise that. We really excited to have a generational talent in Paige Bueckers coming to Dallas.
Now, you talked about it leading up to the event, that it was like Christmas morning. And I know it's not just because of Paige, it was the draft in general. How do you guys feel about especially the rest of the draft before we dive back into more about Paige?
Yeah, it was an exciting night for us. We had 5 picks. We had the first and the last pick of the first round, so 1 and 12. We had an early second-round pick at 14, so we had 3 picks in the top 14. And the way we came out of free agency with trades and signings, 12 and 14 both have a real legitimate chance to make the roster. So we had spent a lot of time in our draft prep over the last few months really trying to prepare for all the scenarios that would present itself on draft night at 12 and 14. So just really excited overall with our draft class. Feel like we really answered a lot of needs that we needed coming into camp. And now we have one of the most competitive camps I've been going to be involved with in over a decade of the WNBA. It's going to be a brutal fight for those last few roster spots, but we're excited about what we've put together.
My wife and kids were very interested in the social media aspect of the draft and all the pictures and the videos that were coming out from it. And in the years that you've spent, how much has the draft changed from the first time you experienced one to what it is now?
Yeah, absolutely. The viewership, the eyes are just at an all-time high over the last 2 years. I think you've seen the numbers and the following of the draft and how much the 25 draft dominates the viewership compared to 23. Obviously, last year was the largest in the history of the draft in terms of viewership, and with Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and Cameron Brink and Rakia Jackson and company all coming in last year. Understand it was a tremendous draft class also last year.
I also kind of with what you have in Enrique and how phenomenal she is at scoring, how does this change or maybe amplify what y'all can do offensively, and how do you build around Paige?
Yeah, she's just such a generational talent, an unselfish superstar. She really gets her teammates involved, but she has that uncanny ability to take over when you need her to. And so let those two play off of each other. Enrique, with the ball in her hands, Paige is one of the most efficient players to ever play the collegiate game, being off the ball. Paige with the ball in her hands now. Enrique is off the ball. More attention than ever on Paige allows for easier opportunities for Enrique. Well documented. A lot of people are talking about it. As talented as Enrique is, she had the most unassisted baskets made in the league last year. And so the pieces that we've added in free agency, now adding Paige, we just believe is going to make everybody's job easier, but certainly Enrique. So much has been asked of her to go play make and make her own shot creation. So we're excited about the pieces that we've added around her.
And one of the things that Paige said on draft night, it's not a rebuild, it's just a rebuild from where we are. And we can get to some of that goes beyond just the team on the court. I'm excited for the things to come, but I feel like we need to reflect just a little bit on how far the team has to go from what was a brutal season last year.
Yeah, certainly 2 years ago, a semifinal team last year in large part, in some ways due to injuries. You see at the bottom of the standings across the league last year, some of the teams that were decimated by injuries. Dallas was one of those and didn't have a very healthy year. So we're excited about the reset. We're calling it a reset. We're excited about free agency now, a successful draft night. There's just so much momentum right now. A revamped front office, a new coaching staff. There's just a lot of momentum around the Wings right now. And Dallas needed it. They needed a shot in the arm. Paige coming into Dallas at this moment can't be better for our area with all the basketball fans. And so really excited for the fans to come out and see the new Wings team this year.
So, and I'm really fascinated by that answer because I totally get it, where you're not necessarily in direct competition with the Mavericks, but you can make an argument that all of the teams in the Metroplex are competing for like fans, eyeballs, and dollars and everything like that. Is it safe to assume then that you see some of the disgruntled fan base from the Mavericks and the pick of a generational player as an opportunity to grow y'all's footprint even more?
I'll just say that I'm excited about the Wings and the Mavs fans turning into year-round basketball fans, and knowing that there's such a great product over in Arlington at the College Park Center with the Dallas Wings, with our move, in the horizon, truly into Dallas with a new practice facility and a renovated downtown arena. I'm just excited to captivate basketball fans in the DFW area. And it transitions from the Mavs right to the Wings, and we earn more and more of that dual fanship. We have a great fan base ourselves, and season tickets sold out, 4 or 5 months before even the start of the season, and that's before our draft class and all the excitement leading into this series. So I'm not worried about the disgruntled fans. I'm worried about the basketball fans jumping on the Wings now as we build something very special.
That's a smart thing to do. Dallas Wings GM and EVP Curt Miller joined us here on the K&C Masterpiece on 105.3 The Fan. I am kind of curious about we saw Paige signed a deal with Unrivaled, and how do y'all feel about that and what they are and how that fits into what the Wings are and the WNBA is building?
Yeah, for someone that's been in the league over a decade, just watching year after year our players finish with their WNBA season and within weeks immediately into their international seasons, and watching players leave family and loved ones and chasing that career overseas, it's so nice now to have another opportunity for at least our core players in the league, and the new Unrivaled League and the success that it had in year one just gives our players an opportunity to stay home. It's only a 10-week long league, but that league allows players not to have to go overseas. And so I think it's truly, truly beneficial for our players. And I think as the new CBA comes on, they'll have a choice because, in the future NBA season and then potentially right over to Turkey or right over to China. So, I'm excited for her to be able to stay in the States in the off season and continue to train and continue to get better basketball wise.
Now, you talked about the new CBA coming up, and obviously you have been, whether it's coach or strictly front office, you've been all over this league for a long time. How important is this next CBA and potentially, hopefully, I would assume, turning a profit in the league for the first time?
Yeah, I'm excited to see how it all plays out. We can't talk about the specifics of the CBA, but I'm really, really excited about where women's basketball is, our viewership, for someone that between the Division I level coaching and then coaching for a decade in the WNBA, someone that's been involved with women's basketball 35 years, the product always has been great. And I'll be bullish on that and tell you that once we get people in the arenas, typically we can hook them. But more eyes came on the WNBA more than ever last year, and the viewership, the fanship, the numbers that are on TV right now are just at an all-time high for women's basketball. So I love the momentum. I just want to keep building on it, and just so excited to see where this is going to go into the future.
Well, how cool is it that one of the places it's going to go, June 27th? I know it's more than just this, but Caitlin versus Paige is, kind of driving it. The fact that game's going to be at the American Airlines Center.
Yeah, excited about that game being moved over there. Tickets are are flying out the door. We anticipate a sellout. It's going to be a special night. Obviously, it will be billed as the first time that Paige and Caitlin have matched up against each other in the WNBA, but there's certainly more. Two of the most successful off-season teams were Indiana and Dallas in free agency and trades, and Indiana's been building out of the ashes just a few years ago. It'd be a return game for Nelissa Smith, who was drafted by Indiana, is now back in Texas, and it will be her first time playing against the team that drafted her and where she started so successfully her career. It's just so many side stories in this game, but what a great opportunity for the Dallas community and fans to come out to the AAC and see that big matchup.
Well, the buzz is definitely there. It's been there all week for sure after the pick and leading into the pick. We appreciate you jumping on with us very much, good sir.
I appreciate it. Look forward. Training camp right around the corner.